Before I tell you what happened at the theater,
Oh no.
like, you know what? No, I'm gonna say the theater first, and then I'm gonna end on a happy. I have to tell you about what happened at the movie. So I I went to the movies, and I was feeling a little bit apprehensive for some reason. I think because 5 years ago, there's this guy on a scooter that demanded I give up my seats to him because he says, "I know you can walk." This was his excuse. "I know you can walk. You need to go to the other side because I can't walk." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you have a scooter. You could go to the other side on your own." And he's like, "No, I need those seats for me and my friend." He was like really nasty. And I'm like, "So I'm not going to walk all around the theater with my arthritis and my, and then the wheelchair." So my son brought the wheelchair around, and there was hardly anybody there. So I just walked across on the seats. But I was like kind of upset how this guy was acting. I was upset. And afterwards I told, I said, you had a scooter. You could have moved. But, you know, this happened 5 years ago. Last month, when you purchase tickets, you have to pick your seats. So I purchased the handicap seats. I think they have a few handicap seats, but I purchased the ones in the back. Because I think they have one row in the back, or like a half a row in the back, and then in front they have some couple of handicap seats. And I paid for those seats in the back. And I went to go see A Death on the Nile. So that had to be last month, maybe the month before. But the same guy on the scooter says, "You can walk. I need this." I'm like, "I don't understand." I said, "I paid for those seats. How could you just..." "Oh, well, we told them we needed to be in the handicap area." And meanwhile, his scooter has brakes. And I sat in the front part, the ones right in front. Not the front, I won't say the front, but there's a half row and then the row right in front, and my wheelchair kept rolling, and I said, "You have a scooter and you can lock it," and again, just like the wife was making excuses. "Oh, but we really need these. We don't want him rolling on the scooter." He was just really nasty, and his wife was very apologetic, and we don't want him to roll. I said, "So I'm gonna roll?" I was so uncomfortable. We had to move to the next side because there was a pillar there, and the pillar would help keep my wheelchair from rolling. But I was so uncomfortable because I couldn't rest my arm. I had to go to the bathroom, and finally I just went out. I said, "How could you sell these guys the same seats that I bought?" And they said, "We wish you would have come to us sooner. We didn't sell any other seats, any other handicap seats." So they basically just stuck into the theater. So the guy was very apologetic and gave me my money back. So he said, "If you would have told us, from the beginning, we just would have told them they had to give the seats up to you." So before I went, I was a little apprehensive. I said, "I hope I don't meet this guy again." I said, 3 strikes and you're out." I was nice the first time. I was nice the second time. But I'm gonna go to the manager in the beginning and say, "Hey, I paid for those seats," But anyway, so I was like, I haven't been to this theater since then. We really like this theater because it's inexpensive, and they have the recliners. They fixed it up, and it's one of the more inexpensive theaters. So we like going there, and it's like 10 minutes from our house. So it's like half the price of going to another theater, the regular theaters. And I think they only show 4 movies. It's a really small theater, so we really like going there, and so it's not going to be crowded. You don't have to walk a lot to get to your seat. So I was feeling a little apprehensive. So I go, my kids wanted to see Sonic 2. My kids are 28 and 30. They grew up on Sonic. So, they were really excited to see this. I wanted to see Lost City, but it's not playing there. So we just, we took them to see Sonic. We were just enjoying the movie, laughing, giggling, just having a good time. People brought their little kids because these little kids don't even know who Sonic is. They just know it's a cartoony type thing, even though it's not. People went there with their babies. People went there with their kids. The kids were screaming. The babies were crying. And I noticed some guy walked in, and I said, "He looks like he works here," and he's staring at me. So he was there maybe a minute, and he came over to me. And he said, "You guys are too loud. You need to take it down. You're laughing too loud." And I'm like, it's a comedy? There's screaming kids and crying babies, and he's telling me I'm laughing too loud? And I think, I don't, maybe because I had experienced that experience before, it was like, oh my goodness, I felt like that lady from Clue, heaving flames. I said, look, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I get up, I go to the bathroom, and while I'm in the bathroom, I am fuming and fuming and fuming. And I get up and I said, I'd like to speak to a manager. It was the same guy. And I told him, I was upset, and I am Puerto Rican, so I can be loud. And I told him firmly, you do not go into the... I said, you do not go into the theater and tell me that I'm laughing too loud at a comedy. I said, you do not do that. If someone comes to you and complains that people are laughing too loud at a comedy, then you tell them to leave. You tell them, go home and stream it. But you don't go in there and talk to me like that. I was just like... And I don't know if you know this, but I noticed that a tactic of people is to tell you to calm down. It's a tactic because they know it's going to antagonize you. And then once you explode, they can call the police on you. It's a tactic. It's happened to me once before. Long time ago. And oh my goodness. So I totally ignored. I think it's my Prozac that helps me to calm down more. But yes, I was upset. Yes, I was firm. And yes, I have a very strong voice. So I just ignored him. And I said, don't you come in there and tell me that I'm laughing too loud at a comedy. Next time you tell them, go home and stream it. If it bothers them. It's ridiculous. I went to my seat. I finished the movie while kids were screaming and babies were crying. And at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, everybody was screaming. The older kids were screaming because of a surprise ending that it had. I was just sitting there upset, saying, I cannot believe that, he called me out like that. And I wouldn't say call out, because you call out people when they're doing something wrong. And I was laughing. Anyway, I went out there and I said, I said, what's that guy's name? Because I am going to complain about what happened. And they said, oh, he's not the manager. The manager just came. They gave him up quick. They weren't being protective of him or nothing. And as we spoke to the manager, and he was there, we realized that something's off about this guy. It seemed to me like he's one of those guys that got bullied, and now he's in a position to be in charge, and he's going to push it for all it's worth to get back at every bully that ever bullied him. That's what it looks like. Like he's not all there. That's how it seemed. Like he was like very immature. Anyway, I went to speak to the manager, and again, I know that I was laughing. I laugh loud. That's what I do. But it's a comedy. You're in a public theater, then you're going to hear people laugh, When I went out, I said, when I went to go speak to the manager, he came up behind her, and I told her what he did, and this older woman came out saying, she is absolutely right. She was furious herself. There's kids in there screaming and babies crying. I couldn't enjoy the movie. They weren't the problem. And so, my son is like, what, you're going to tell the babies to leave? He's going to come out and tell me I'm laughing, that we're laughing too loud? Oh, my goodness. So the guy lied. Well, some dude with 3 kids. His kids were probably one of the ones that was screaming. 3 little toddlers, like 5, 4, and 3 type of thing, or 2, 3, and 4. I don't know if he was just being defensive, but he screamed out, "Why you biatching to him? You were the loudest one in there." And I'm so glad. I was like, I can just deal with one person at a time. I can't multitask. The lady then went over to him and started arguing with him. And I heard his wife saying something. My husband heard what she was saying. I didn't. He lied and said that I was talking. And I was talking above the movie. Oh, no. No, do not accuse me falsely or something. I mean, we were in the back giggling, we were just enjoying the movie, laughing, we might have said something here and there like, uh-oh, or, I said, uh-oh, that lady's going to get him, hell hath no fury. And the lady said it, the actress said, hell hath no fury, and my son started laughing at me and saying, yeah, you were right, but it wasn't like we were having conversations, we were just enjoying the movie. So he lied and said I was talking about the movie. I was just like, I told him, right, you are a liar. Whoever said that was a lie. Well, I was there for 3 minutes, and I heard you. He wasn't there for 3 minutes. He just heard me. He just went in there for like less than a minute. So when he was looking at the lady arguing with the guy, and he was looking at me complaining and saying that, you didn't go in there to complain about the screaming babies. You didn't go in there to complain about the screaming kids, but you're going to go in there and tell me I'm laughing too loud at a comedy. He was like off. You could see that he was off. The way he was acting and stuff. And so he just screamed to the top of his lungs, "Everybody, calm down!" And I looked at him and said, the only one who needs to calm down is you. And so the manager said, well, you are really upset. I said, of course I'm upset, because he went in there and embarrassed me. And you should have seen the look on his face. Like this look of satisfaction. He was happy that he embarrassed me. So because he was screaming, I found out later on, she was telling me she could give me my money back, that's all she could do. And I didn't hear her because when he screamed to the top of his lungs. And I just said, I am going to bring this to I think the company's called PCC Movies or something. I will be coming to them with this. And she's like, okay. At first I thought she was like being like, I don't care. But my son said, no, she was trying to offer you. And I wasn't mad at her though. And I just saw him really upset about how he acted. My husband said that what his wife was saying to him is, when he was screaming about, the guy screaming said that I'm biatching and being the loudest one there. She was telling him, what are you talking about? She was reprimanding her husband. So either he was the one who complained, which I doubt it, or he was the one with the kids that was screaming and the babies crying. And I don't know what happened between him and the lady. But whatever happened between them, I said, good, let her take care of him, because I'm not going to deal with him. But one of the things she was saying is that this woman who was screaming, and they told me her name too, because I want to know who she is in case I needed to name the other person who was backing us up, is that if she would have known who it was who had their screaming kids and crying babies, she would have said something. She said she would have lost it, and it would have been ugly. And the guy that I was telling you about that was off. Oh, do you think you're the manager? You think you're the manager? That's just, he's off. That's very immature and that's very off. He wasn't the manager either. They said he was a crew captain. I'm like, this guy putting him in charge of people is not good. He was off. I watch a lot of crime docuseries, serial killers, evil people. This guy, and my son was saying, he's like gonna go, like he's like gonna lose it and go postal or something. So we were all noticing how off he was. As I was leaving, usually I take the handicap, but I guess I was just so upset that I went towards the guy, because that's where the exit was, and used the stairs. And oh my goodness, I couldn't even get up the stairs without pain. My whole body was like, Anyway, like her kids were ready to leave, and she was like kind of nervous about letting them out there with us, but she was like, you know, upset with her husband for opening up his mouth like that. But anyway, I just ignored him, you know, and I just went into the car, and me and my kids were fuming for like an hour. We're trying to enjoy dinner, and anyway, when I got home, I looked up different places that I could complain. So Better Business Bureau, you can complain without you know, if it's monetary, they're going to help you. But in this situation, you know, there's just like with ColourPop, there's just one part that's just for complaints. And so I put it through there. For some reason, Yelp isn't working. I tried to put it through to Yelp. I don't think it went through. But I've been to Yelp before. I just signed in through, you know, just did something simple. And anyway, I wanted this to be known, because that guy, seriously, it scares me that he might do something crazy. Not that I'm afraid of him, obviously, but anyway, I went onto the PCC movies website. I complained there. I realized I forgot to put which of their theaters, but I did say when it was playing, and he got back to me in about 2 days. He wanted to talk to the manager first, and the manager says this is the first complaint she ever got against him. And you know what? The first incident that she's ever heard of. I said to myself, I'm pretty sure there's been other incidences, but people don't speak up like I do. So she offered me free movie tickets, and he offered me a free combo meal. And he said, can I get your address? And so I gave it to them. And I said, I will. He gave me her email. I said, I will be looking for those, talking about free movie tickets. But I told him, seriously, there's something off about that guy. He should not be in a managerial position. He's a manager in training, they said. I'm like, so I said, I'm taking these free tickets. I just don't want him near me. I do not want him near me. And you know, when I got back from the bathroom, I turned on my recording on my phone, and it was in my bag, so I wasn't recording the movie. And I forgot to turn it off as we were leaving. So I got that whole conversation on my phone where he went cray-cray. But anyway, so you can see my week was crazy last week. But I finally did get my Care Bears.